it's Jess here with Let's Jess. Thank you so much for watching, and I want to apologize that it has been over a year since I have done a video about my health story, and I told y'all that I was going to film it and you would have an ending video because this is the 4th part of it, so I'll leave all the other parts down below. This is my AVM and CRPS 1 health journey, how as a teenager, I was really, really sick. I've told y'all the whole story, so don't start with this video. Go back and watch part 1, part 2, and part 3, or you're going to be completely lost. But I want to apologize because I really meant to film this just a week or 2 after I filmed the part 3, and I got pregnant, and things got crazy and busy, and it's been on my list of stuff to film, and I keep pushing it back, and things have happened, and it's never been a good time to film. And so I've had many requests and like, hey, where's that video? And by good means, like, everybody should be asking me because it's been like over a year since I have filmed part 3. So I am here today to finish the story. This is part 4. This is the best one of all. I guess I've just been saving, you know, you're on the edge of your seat. I don't know. I've just been saving it because it is a really good one, and it's the best one because obviously you know I'm okay because I'm sitting here filming videos, but you want to know what happened. I left you hanging. So here we are, part 4. I had to go back and like see how I left it to know where to start from now. But here we go. We're about to go into part 4, and I am so sorry for making it be this long in between. Okay. Yay. Here we are. Here we are. So I left you saying that I went to college and we had to wait 3 years between when I had the procedure done, the gamma knife procedure, the radiation, 3 years to see if it removed the AVM. That's where I left y'all. So I had that done when I was like a junior in high school. So 3 years later, I would be a freshman in college, and it would be time to go back in for a arteriogram and see if my AVM was still there or if it had left. So this was a huge moment in my life. I will say, I don't know how much, I can't remember how much I said about this, but all throughout that year in college, it was like the first 6 months of my college life. Like, I was a freshman, and I went to college in Mobile, which is about 4 hours from where I lived, and Mobile, Alabama. I went to the University of South Alabama. I had a lot of anxiety because I was terrified that the AVM was still there, that it would rupture, and then I would die. Like, I still had a lot of fear about it. I had a lot of panic attacks anytime I would get a headache. I remember like breaking out in a cold sweat, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to die because this thing is going to rupture in my head. I remember being so afraid and having like a lot of fear about this. And so it came to the point where over Christmas break, I was going to go home and we were going to have this final test done to see what my future was going to be, basically. So if I went back in for the test and it was still there, we would have to make the decision of surgery or another round of 3-year radiation, like do the gamma knife and then wait 3 years and see, or if we would just do surgery, or what we would do, because leaving it in is not an option. I don't know what's wrong with my camera and why it keeps making that noise, so I'm sorry. So sorry about that. Or if it was gone, then yay, I wouldn't have to have anything done and I could go live my life. So it was a big moment. It was a huge moment. I remember I went out to dinner with friends the night before. It was just like a thing we had planned just to go hang out with each other because we were all home from college and stuff. But I remember being really, really afraid all that night. Just like so much anxiety of, oh my gosh, I'm going to go have this test done. And what if it's still there? And, you know, everything. And I was only 20 years old. Oh, I wasn't even 20. Yes, I was. Maybe I wasn't a freshman. I was a sophomore. I believe I was a sophomore. No, I wasn't. Let's see, it was 2000. So I'm doing a really bad job of telling all the details. I think I was a sophomore because I was 17 when I had the procedure and I was 20 when I had this done. So I would have been a sophomore, I believe. Anyway, it's not super important that that's accurate. But anyway, so I had just turned 20. I had just turned 20. Like, it was 2 days after my birthday. My birthday's on December 18th. I believe I had this done like December 20th, something around there. So we all had to be, my mom and dad took me to the hospital, and if you guys don't know, so an arteriogram is really not fun, and when I had one done when I was 17, I was still considered a pediatric patient, so they put me completely under for that. They put me completely under for the whole procedure. I don't remember any of it. It was wonderful. I would recommend going that route. Because I was an adult, they were going to do it with me awake. And I remember not liking this idea at all, but you know, I was more worried about the results, honestly, so I didn't really fight it when they said I was going to be awake. And they said they could give me like some sedation if I needed it. So they have to run a tube from your groin artery. There's a major artery like in your groin, like leg. And they had to run a tube all the way up to your head, to your brain, and they shoot dye. They like push dye, and you can feel like whoosh, like you can feel it go up to your head. They shoot dye, and then they take pictures of your brain. And it's a really weird feeling, and I was going to be awake for it. So they wheel me back there. They put me on this table, and I remember laying there and crying because I was so afraid of the results. I was uncomfortable with the test. I was scared out of my mind, and I did not know even what to feel. I just remember crying. There was this really sweet male nurse that was sitting right beside me, and he kept wiping my tears for me. And I remember singing in my head Amazing Grace. I don't know why I picked that song, but I did. I started singing it and praying that everything was going to be okay, and I was just scared out of my mind, scared because I'm just thinking, like, what if I had to have surgery, or what if it's still there and I have to do this another 3 years, and like all the fear and anxiety and everything. Oh my gosh, I can't do this, and just being afraid. And so I believe when I started crying, they gave me like something that kind of took the edge off. I still remember everything, but I remember them saying like, oh, let's push something. She's upset or whatever. That's what they said. And so they pushed something in my IV, and it kind of calmed me down a little bit, but I remember still crying, and the guy just wiping my tears and being really, really sweet, and them shooting this dye, and it's almost like you feel this warm flush in your head, almost like when you're embarrassed and you get a warm feeling. It's like that times 100 because they're shooting this dye. It's a really weird feeling, really not painful, but weird, like a really weird feeling. And they took these pictures, and I remember them kind of whispering about it. At first, I'm thinking, is that a good thing, or are they excited that it's gone? Are they telling each other, oh no, it's not there, it's gone, or it's not gone? And I remember after a few minutes, the doctor told me, it's gone. He said, honey, you're good to go. It's not there anymore. And I remember just feeling so relieved. And like, he was kind of, I don't know, I felt like he was a little bit vague with me, or maybe I was just not all the way there because of the sedation. And so I'm like, okay, maybe he just told me it was really good news. I forget. He gave me the inclination in that moment that everything was okay. And so they wheel me back to recovery. And with the arteriogram, you have to lay flat for a period of time, like 7 hours or something, because of that groin artery. It has to like seal, clog off or whatever, clot, because they don't want you to bleed out, after that. So I'm laying there, and everybody that has just had surgery is like knocked out, and I'm wide awake because I wasn't put to sleep. And I remember them telling, like, the people who gave me to the recovery room, I remember them saying, like, she was in for this, and the results are that it's gone or whatever. And I just remember, like, that was the second confirmation that I heard somebody say it was gone. And I remember just being so relieved, like, it felt like a weight was off of my shoulders, and just being so thankful that there was nothing there. It was gone. And so after a little while, they're like, we're going to get you out of this recovery room because you're wide awake and you don't even need to be in here. And so they wheeled me back to my room, and they told my mom and dad that it was gone. And we were just all so excited and thankful and relieved. And y'all can imagine, like, just beyond thrilled. And, the last thing we needed to make sure of is that I could come off of my seizure meds. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was having some like eye twitches, and they were worried that those were like seizures. I'd had some EEGs and they weren't sure that I was having seizures. It didn't look like seizures, but they wanted to go ahead and be safe, so they had put me on seizure meds. I had tried several different ones and they were giving me really weird side effects, but finally it was on this one. I believe it was Keppra. And so he said, in order to get off of your seizure meds, we have to give you another EEG and make sure it all looks good. Lucy's watching me through the window. I forgot to say why I'm filming in my car. We're under quarantine right now, and the house is a madhouse. So this is the quiet room that I have. So Lucy is looking out the window at me, filming in my car. But anyway, so he said, in order to get off the seizure meds, you have to have the EEG. And if that looks good, I'll take you off of everything. And then he's like, you'll be discharged. And my neurologist came in, and I remember him saying, you are really lucky, which I know it's not lucky. It's like total God's grace. So I'm so blessed, because he said, your AVM was very big. And, you know, they had told me earlier that it was wrapped up in my motor bands. And so surgery could have left me with permanent damage to that part, and I could walk with a limp or have severe defects and stuff. And he was just reiterating like how lucky I was, because he went back and looked at my films, and the AVM was rather large, and I was just really, really lucky that everything turned out so well, which we knew it was God and all the people that prayed for us, and just a complete miracle that everything went so well. And I'm so thankful for the doctors and nurses and everybody that helped. But we know that God really did just help us through this season, and helped me even in the times I was scared and fearful and panicked and everything. He was always there with me, and he was so faithful. So I had to have the EEG done. I was already there having to wait, you know, for this, because I had the arteriogram. But they said that I could probably go home that night. Anyway, so the lady came in, and they have to put like all this stuff on your head, and they did the EEG, and they came back and said it looked great. And so the doctor said, I'm taking you off of everything, all your medicine, you know, your seizure meds and everything, and you are good to go. And I don't have to see you ever again. Like, he released me. I don't have any lasting effects from that time in my life. My hair grew back, of course, by this point. Y'all, it's just a miracle. Like, I was able to have kids, and they had told me like if I had had this condition and didn't know it, I could have died during labor because of all the extra pressure and stuff. So I was able to go on and have 3 beautiful kids. I finished my college career. Well, obviously that was before the kids. Got married. Have had a wonderful, this has been, you know, almost 15 years since, it's been over 15 years since I had the procedure done, almost 15 years since I'm telling you the story of everything that happened, and I've never had any other problems with neurology or any effects from anything. It's absolutely a miracle that everything came out like it did. So for our CRPS part, which I told you guys a lot, like I was having to go in for nerve blocks all the time because my nervous system was registering pain. If I talked about this very early on in this series, 1 or 2, I talked a lot about the CRPS part. Honestly, you guys, I believe, and some of the doctors that I've had believed, that maybe the CRPS was somehow tied into the AVM, because as soon as we took care of the AVM, I have had no more symptoms of CRPS. No more nerve pain. I've had to have no more nerve blocks, epidurals, or anything. So I don't know that for sure. It's not been proven. Nobody really knows why I had the CRPS one, or it used to be called RSD. But as soon as that AVM got removed from my brain, I've had 0 episodes of the CRPS one. And I've had, you know, babies and different levels of pain for other things, but I haven't had that nerve pain. So I am so thankful. It was a very hard time in my life. It's hard to talk about, and that's probably why I've delayed this video. Even though this is all the good news part, it still reminds me of that time in my life, and it's been a very hard video series to shoot because it really brings me back to being afraid for my life and how I felt as a teenager. And, you know, I see teenagers now, and I can't believe how much I went through as a young person. And now I'm watching seniors, right now during the quarantine, they're not being able to graduate or go to their prom and everything. And my heart breaks for them because I know what it's like to miss out on things as a teenager. And even though I missed out on things for health reasons and they're missing out on things for quarantine and the virus going around, it's still really hard. And I'm just so thankful. I'm just so thankful that everything's okay, that I was able to get through that time in my life. And I believe that I went through it for a reason, not that God caused all of this to happen, but he definitely used it. And I am a different person today than I would have been if I had never gone through it. And I went on to become a nurse, honestly, because of this process. I'm a better mom. I'm a better everything because I went through this, and I wouldn't change it for the world, even though it was a really difficult time in my life. And that's why I wanted to share it, even though it's very hard for me to talk about. I believe I went through it for a reason, and that is to encourage others. If you're going through a hard season, if you're going through something that seems impossible, a sickness, something with your child, financial, whatever it is, like, God is so faithful. Even though being a Christian doesn't stop bad things from happening to you. I was a Christian and this all happened to me, and it sometimes feels unfair because we feel like we should be immune to it, but we're not immune to it. We just have a help that goes with us and is faithful to support us and to help us through these hard things. And so I am so grateful. I wanted to share just how faithful God was to me during this. He never left me. He provided time and time again, like all the little details of when I had it done and finding out that I had it. The AVM could have been so much worse if we had not known about it, but because I had that headache and we went into the right doctor, just a random doctor we walked into, God definitely orchestrated our steps in that. And I can't imagine, like, if we hadn't gone to that doctor or we hadn't found the AVM, like, what would have happened, or my whole life would have been different and I could have lost my life. So I'm just so grateful that God was with us, and he does orchestrate our steps, and he's just so faithful. So I want to encourage anyone out there going through a hard time. Maybe you've clicked on this video because you have an AVM or you have CRPS and you're looking for a hopeful story. And I just wanted to share that because there's lots of videos that talk about what it's like to live with the disease, or the fact there's not really a cure for it. And I just want to be the light out there that says there is hope. It's happened to me that I don't have any struggles with it anymore. And so leave me a comment down below if you are relating to this video because of something you're going through. And I definitely want to pray for you because God is so faithful. And like I said, he doesn't cause these things, but he definitely can work them out for the good of us. And it really, it's really something in my life that I can look back on and know that, well, if God took care of me during that he's going to be faithful to take care of me going forward in the future. And, it's my testimony. I don't have a testimony of being addicted to drugs and alcohol and getting set free, which those stories are amazing. I don't have a testimony of, other things happening in my life, but I do have a testimony of the faithfulness of God during a health struggle. And I feel like we were given our testimony, whatever it is, whether it's drugs and alcohol, the fact that, you fell away from God and you came back, or you have a sick kid, or whatever it is, that's your testimony, and God's giving it to you for a reason. And that reason is to tell others. So that's what I'm doing here in these videos, even though it's very hard for me to talk about it. I hope you guys were encouraged. I hope it made sense because I feel like I've done these so frequently, especially waiting a year to finish them out. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I really hope you got something out of this. And I really hope that it wasn't too long and drawn out, but it's a lot of details and I probably left some stuff out. I'm sure of it because it happened so long ago. But those memories are definitely burned into my brain, and all the experiences and all the hard times I went through, it's definitely not forgotten because it definitely, like I said, it made me into the person I am today. So thank y'all for watching so much. Share with a friend or family. That would be great. We would love to have you a part of our YouTube family, so definitely subscribe if you're new. Leave me a comment, like I said, and we'll see you all later. Bye, guys.
Cold hand, frozen feet.